Welcome. Today, we'll explore the essential spelling rules of Polish, a guide called Mastering Polish Orthography. Understanding the correct use of special Polish letters is fundamental to writing accurately. While pronunciation can be tricky, Polish spelling, or orthography, follows very specific historical and grammatical rules. In this lesson, we'll look at the key distinctions between the letters A with a dot, E with a dot, O, U, Y, and I. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The nasal vowels, O and A, the letters O, called nasal O, and A, called nasal E, show a historical nasal sound in Polish. Today, their use depends mostly on grammar, word structure, and verb endings. Letter O, nasal O. We use for all verbs in the third person plural, meaning they do or they are doing. For example, czytają, they read, idą, they go. Letter A, nasal E. We use A for most verbs in the first person singular, meaning I do or I am doing. For example, robię, I make, widzę, I see. Grammatical roles of nasal vowels. Beyond verbs, O and am play an important role in noun endings, which helps define grammatical case, how a word functions in a sentence. The use of A, nasal E. In the accusative case for feminine nouns, we usually end the word with A. For example, widzę tę kobietę, I see that woman. When A is the last letter of a word, the nasal sound often disappears. So, robię is pronounced almost like robi, a soft E at the end. The use of O, nasal O. The letter om often appears in endings for the instrumental or accusative case, especially for masculine nouns. For example, z kobietą, meaning with a woman. Chapter 2. The sound-alikes O and U. Now, let's look at O and U. Although they look different, they sound exactly the same. U, like the U in moon. The difference lies in history and word structure. The main rule here is called alternation, or in Polish, Wymiana. It reflects a time when a long O sound gradually turned into the modern U when to use O. The alternation rule. You write O when that sound alternates with O in another form of the same word. For example, góra, mountain, comes from an older word with O, or powrót, return, changes to powróty in plural, showing the O. Also, in the genitive plural case, we always write u, as in synów, meaning of sons. Typically, O appears after these consonants, P, B, T, D, K, G, ch, and J. When to use U, plain U. We use plain U when the word doesn't follow the alternation rule, meaning there is no related word with an O. For example, words starting with the U sound almost always begin with the letter U, like ulica, street, or ucho, ear. Also, in verb endings, always write uj or ujo. For example, kupuję, I buy, pracują, they work. If no other word form includes O, use U. Visual contrast, O versus U, think of O as a historical O that changed its sound but kept its old spelling. Meanwhile, U represents a newer spelling without that history. Both are pronounced U, but their origins are different. Chapter 3. The I sounds Y and I now. Let's compare Y and I. Both represent an E type of sound, but the choice depends on the consonant that comes before them, whether it's hard or soft. Hard consonants plus YY follows hard consonants like C, D, Z, S, Z, K, G, H, T, D, R, and their digraphs SC, T, RZ, and DZ. Examples include Michel, thought, Shia, neck, tie, U. Soft consonants plus I. I follows soft consonants like shish, G, chi, dij, neen, L, and J. Examples, zima, winter, list, letter. The softening role of I. The letter I does more than just make a sound. It also softens the consonant before it. When a hard consonant is followed by I, the sound becomes soft. For example, S plus I creates the soft sound ah, as in sedum, 7. This system helps avoid extra diacritic marks because the I already signals that the consonant is soft. Final checklist, orthography summary. Let's summarize with a quick spelling checklist. O and A. Nasal vowels. Check the verb endings. First person singular uses A. Third person plural uses A. They also mark accusative and instrumental cases. O and U. Vowel alternation. Does the word or any related form contain an O? If yes, write O. If no, or if it begins a word, write U. Y and I, consonant. Type. Does the letter before it need a hard vowel? That's Y. Or a soft vowel or softener? That's I. Closing consistent use of these rules is the key to mastering Polish spelling. Once you understand how each letter works, writing Polish becomes logical, rhythmic, and deeply connected to its history. Dziękuję. Thank you for listening.